Messy money. Are you an entrepreneur who commingles your business and personal finances? And then you're wondering, where did all the money go? This is exactly what we talk about in The Smell of Money, a community on school where we dive into conversations about our relationship with money. Because most of us, we know how to manage it. We just have this attitude that money is ghosting us. And we think that if we work hard, we make more money, it will solve all of our problems. But that's one of the biggest lies we believe. To dive in deeper, join us at The Smell of Money. The link is in the show notes. Cash flow, confidence, wealth. Welcome to iDateMoney. If you're making money but still wondering where it all went, if you're ready to organize your cash flow, build confidence with money, and create lasting wealth, you're in the right place. I'm Lisa Drennon, wealth activator, creator of the Money Multiplier System, and founder of the Smell of Money community. If you're a multi-passionate female entrepreneur who's making money but not building wealth, this podcast is for you. Each week, you'll discover practical strategies to organize your cash flow, keep more of what you earn, eliminate debt, and build lasting wealth with confidence. So grab your favorite essential oil, take a deep breath, and let's sniff our way to cash flow, confidence, and wealth. Welcome to today's show. Today we have a really cool guest who has had a great journey in her business. I know all of you mompreneurs out there are going to want to listen up. So go grab something cold to drink, get rid of the distractions, and stay focused for the next 20 minutes or so. We have Michelle Puccinelli with us. She is a marketing and operations strategist who has worked across 25 plus industries. So I'm sure she can help you. After 10 years working as a fractional consultant, she founded Virtual Work Studio, an agency that serves small business owners, yep, that's you, and houses an internship program that gives women on the job training and equips them to be specialized VAs. So maybe you're one of those entrepreneurs out there who's transitioning from your 9 to 5, wanting to start your own business, and you're thinking, you know what? I would be a great VA. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time. So tell us a little bit about your money story, your journey. I like to start off with, what was your attitude towards money when you first started this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I absolutely was operating out of the scarcity mindset. I was an employee, I was a teacher, I was going to be a government worker for the rest of my life, right? I was there for the benefits, and entrepreneurship was not on my bingo card. It was not something I thought I would ever do. But I kept coming up against ceilings. I left teaching, I kind of dabbled in corporate, and my husband just kept being the bird in my ear of like, this is not for you, honey. You are not meant to be an employee. You're not meant to have somebody tell you when you can go pee. You're not meant to come up against all of these ceilings. And, I definitely resisted him for a long time because I grew up with zero entrepreneurs. I did not know anybody who owned their own business. And I just had that fear, right? Of like, what happens if I fail? How can we possibly survive on this? And so it was really with his encouragement to start thinking through what this could look like. And I dabbled with freelancing. So freelancing and consulting is really where I kind of got my feet wet of like, oh, I can do this. I
Mhm.
can be the one to find, the money pot for myself and build this and not have the ceiling. And so from there, that kind of gave me the courage and the wisdom and the experience to really go all in with entrepreneurship.
I love that. And thinking that, you're telling yourself, I have to be stuck. And your husband's like, no, you're not even meant to do this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of teachers and nurses that transition into the entrepreneurial world.
Yep.
And, I like to say they have the same kind of demeanor because they're loving and kind and patient and teachable and willing to do the hard work. And when you think about the journey through being your own business owner, no one tells you all the hats that you wear. And yeah, you get to make your own decisions and create your own schedule, but they don't tell you how challenging it is to have that startup and to go through the ups and downs and, the unexpected, inconsistent income and,
Yep.
the challenge of creating something and the foundation. So when you train VAs, and I know VAs are a vital part of all business owners. Everyone starts off as a solopreneur, and then they get to the point where they need to hire
Yep.
someone helpful that can really support them in their business. So what's that journey look like, and how do you work with them with their mindset and teach them so that they can be supportive? And I like to say a VA should help the business owner get some kind of an ROI, build up some kind of a, profit margin so that the value of the exchange is encouraging to the business owner.
Yeah, exactly. We actually create specialized VAs and we train them to be marketing VAs and operations VAs. And this is for two reasons. One is because obviously that's where I'm coming from, right? My experience in the past 10 years of consulting has been in marketing and operations. I ran all of those different departments fractionally for many different clients. And so that's my, zone of genius that I'm teaching other women to learn. But the second reason is for exactly what you just mentioned is that ROI piece, because I know that while general admin support is very beneficial, it is the first position that gets cut when times are looking a little lean. And so I
Right.
want to equip the women who go through my training program to have real in demand and marketable skills that bring ROI for the clients that they work for. And that includes social media support, learning how to do some basic video editings, getting inside of CRM so that they can help a business owner create funnels and automations and workflows. I even teach them how to create like business dashboards so that if their client wants help tracking their numbers and doing their analytics, they'll be able to do all of that as well. So they have the basic VA admin skill set, but then we really help them level up so that they are being that kind of irreplaceable team member for whatever client they get hired on with.
I like that you mentioned the KPI tracking because a lot of people don't do that. And it floors me. Like, I talk to entrepreneurs, they don't have a business plan, a financial plan, they have no idea.
Yeah.
And then especially the startups, they start, oh, I'm going to create this lead magnet. Like, for who? Who are
Right.
you creating it for? Just stop. You're wasting your time and your energy
Yeah.
do your market research, get your business plan in place first and know what your KPIs are so you can figure out whether or not you're hitting your profit margin goal. So I love, that your VAs understand that. When you
Mm.
think about the journey that you went on with the money and the money stories that you tell yourself, and I'm sure you have these conversations when you're training people as well, because we're all doing this for money,
Yep. Right.
and the bottom line is we have a service where using our gifts and talents to showcase what we have. And when we're in our zone, everything just falls into place. It's so easy for us. It comes easy for us. And then when
Yep.
we have a simplified system to implement, it makes the money come in. And I like to say it comes in always, always. So when you were going through your money journey, starting up your business, transitioning, working with all these different companies and saying, okay, I'm going to just go full fledged in. I'm going to start this agency. This is going to be my income. What were some of the money stories you told yourself?
Mm. Um, you know, like I said, I definitely am inclined to the scarcity mindset of like, oh no, what will happen if I'm not profitable? I also am a highly ambitious person who likes to be at the top of the class and win the competition. So there's also there's a real embarrassment that I think sometimes comes with putting yourself out there and launching something new. And what if it fails or what if nobody buys? And that was probably one of my biggest hurdles that I had to overcome of like being able to sit in the discomfort of putting something out new without social proof and, having to just keep going forward and keep putting it forward and tweaking and being okay with the first launch not being super successful and the second launch only being marginally successful and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely have had to learn to look for the long haul and to really think through, that we are here building a long term legacy instead of that short term dopamine hit. So
Mm.
even when you come up against a no, not letting that sit too long inside of you because there's a yes around the corner.
Yes, I love that perspective. And, we think about the no's and that's what we focus on. But when we can focus on, okay, this was a yes, and to keep going and to learn from that so that you can make the adjustments. I'm always telling my clients in my Wealth Accelerator program, it's always like at the end of the day, reflecting on, okay, this is what I'm celebrating. This was, a great win. And this is what I'm thankful for. And then the next day going in and saying, okay, what can I do differently? How can I do it better? And a lot
Right.
of us feel like sales are so icky. And, you're a marketing guru. And I always say marketing and sales are very different, but a lot of people just lump some of them together and think they're the same. So tell us the difference between marketing and sales from your professional point of view.
So for me, marketing is a long journey and it is really thinking through your customer experience from first touch point to last touch point. I obviously am an operations person, right? That's why I do marketing operations. So I'm always thinking through marketing as, how to reduce friction, how to be as clear and concise as possible to give not only the features of whatever the product is that you are selling, but also make sure that people understand the benefits. So I think of marketing as much more of a, conversation throughout the entire journey. And sales is much more about convincing instead of displaying, right? I think of marketing as more of like an opportunity to target the right person and make sure that they have all of the right information. But sales is a little bit more of, convincing somebody who may or may not be the right fit, that they are there. Obviously, sales is an important part of the equation and when you do anything that's high ticket, you're going to need much more of a sales focused mindset, I think. But I do think that they go hand in hand and you have to have both to have a successful, thriving business. But I do think that the type of product we have will determine what your ratio is because a
Mhm.
lot of products need much more marketing than they do sales.
Yeah, I mean, marketing is key. And I always get surprised when people don't have a marketing strategy in place. And, it's like you throw spaghetti at the wall and hope that it sticks. I'm like, that is not a marketing strategy. And I've worked with coaches who, oh no, you need a 90 day, it takes you 90 days to implement a marketing strategy. So you have to plan like your whole year out. And I'm thinking sometimes that isn't necessary. Like, I think we all have our own unique way of doing things, but as long as you have some kind of a calendar in place that shows, okay, this is my marketing strategy. And there's so many different ways to market. My
Yeah.
favorite is obviously through podcasting, and I have Come Cash Flow workshops. We call them speed dating events. Speed dating your money so that, you can implement a money management system that will really help you multiply the money that you are bringing in, and you're using it so that you can actually enjoy the money instead of just watching it disappear. And there's
Mhm.
so much fun and informative, and weaving in stories and interactive conversation with it is so powerful versus doing a 3-day launch, which I know some coaches absolutely love. Or,
Right.
you do these PowerPoint presentations where you're talking at people instead of with them. A lot of people do very well in those. So how does someone know, and is this something that you help them walk them through if they're in using the right marketing tools to help launch their business or grow their business?
Anytime we start working with a new client, we spend a lot of time thinking through their current channels. where their customers are. And then, of course, we're going to evaluate what you're currently doing because most everybody, by the time they are coming to us, they have some revenue. And so, they're getting success somewhere. So, kind of like what we had talked about a little bit earlier is we get right with the numbers first. We take a look at where their acquisitions are coming from, what's converting, because even if you have a high volume of traffic on one marketing channel, but nobody's buying from that marketing channel, then that's not necessarily somewhere that we need to invest. So I'm definitely a numbers gal. I like to look at the numbers first and foremost, but then sometimes it's about just talking through what we think the ideal customer is going to want. We obviously, if we have a customer base to talk to, we're going to talk to them. I believe in building in public. And so if a client is willing to pull their Instagram audience, send an email to past customers, do some kind of survey building tool where we can talk to the customer about how they want to receive a product, then that's going to be really valuable as well. So it's kind of a science and an art. We'll look at the numbers to make some informed decisions, but sometimes it's also just about like talking through and using what I know about marketing psychology and what the client knows about their customer.
I love that. And that's a great approach. And I think a lot of our listeners out there needed to hear this. You know who you are because you're going after all these shiny objects, hoping that something will work. And then you're looking at your shiny objects going, I don't know how to put this together. You need that plan. You need that business plan written out and the financial plan, what your profit margin goal is, and then reverse engineer it. Yes, it's that simple. No, it's not easy, but it is simple. And this is where you get to have support and thinking, I need a marketing coach, sales coach, I need a financial coach, I need this coach. You need to ask yourself, how do I make this business work for me so I hit my profit margin goal? And if you don't know what your profit margin goal is, you're just going to be spinning your wheels, right? So, Michelle, when you think about implementing all of the strategies that you've learned with the business plan, the financial plan, the marketing, and sales, which was the one that you focused on that helped you get to the next level in your business?
I am because I am in client services. I feel like I am so uniquely blessed because I get to peek behind the curtain of everybody else's business. And it's, obviously I get to support them and their success is my success, but I have far less skin in the game than they do. So I get to see how so many other people are operating and see what's working for them and what's not working for them. So, for me, it feels a little maybe is a cop out, but it feels like it's a little bit of all of the above because I get to see so many other different people and how they operate. But I really do think that the operations of a business and just making sure that you are really thinking through what's sustainable and what is making you money and like, what systems can actually be in place so that you're not having to constantly trade time for money. Those are the things that I have seen from the successful businesses that make it, right? That last because many new businesses, unfortunately, they die within that first 5 years. And the ones that make it past that are the ones who have really invested the time in kind of the whole plan picture and really taking a minute to sit back and ask themselves, what do I want this to look like and what is sustainable for me?
That's the key. So important. And yeah, you're right. Like 90% of the businesses, if they don't fail, they will re niche themselves. All of a sudden, they're not doing
Right.
that anymore. I was guilty of that. I changed my niche 3 times because I was not in alignment. And I tell my clients now, like, just lean into it. You know what your gifts and talents are. What do you love to do? And, a lot of them get involved with AI. There's so much focus on AI and how it can save you time and money. And I thought, well, you can be tech poor with AI,
Yeah.
investing in all of these programs, not, and then you have to take the time and energy to learn how they work. But I had shared with you pre-show that, I'm looking for an executive assistant slash VA. And of course, you say that, and AI, oh, look at this tool will help you do this.
Yep.
So, for somebody who's looking for support in their business, who wants to maybe use AI versus an actual person, what would be the best approach?
AI is going to be incredible for a couple of things. For like tech support problem solving, if you are willing to implement, AI is so helpful for that. Now, it is going to give you the wrong instructions quite often, but like just because it doesn't quite know what the UX is of the tool that you're using. So you have to massage it, you have to be willing, but it will get you there 9 times out of 10. It's also going to be very beneficial for the like SOP side of things, right? So like just record yourself on your phone talking out loud as you're doing something, copy the transcript into AI and say, "Make me a pretty SOP out of this." I've been doing this for a long time, and what used to take me 5 hours to do for a client, I can now do in 10 minutes because of AI. So the tech side of things is beautiful. For my operations side, love it. I use it all the time. For the marketing side, I am not a huge proponent of using AI for copy or images, at least as a final step. So if you have the ability to really critically look through your AI copy and have a marketing lens and a human lens, then you can use it. But I am just seeing so many cookie cutter, not good, probably doing more damage than help marketing AI right now. And so I would just really encourage everyone to use that with a real grain of salt. Ask it to give you ideas, ask it to outline, but to have it be the final product for your copy and your creative, I think we're a long ways away from it being able to fully replace your human brain.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I retired from the Social Security Administration, and I remember, in the early 90s, mid 90s, when we were introducing, the computer systems and everything, and things started to become more automated when, Google, internet. I mean, it's amazing how much it's grown in the last 30 years. But I remember there was this appeals process that you had to manually did, and they automated it. And then they were teaching all the newbies only the automation, not the nuts and bolts. And they had no clue how to troubleshoot it. And
Right.
that's what happens with AI. If you don't know what you want to say, your cadence, your tone, the general message, it's going to come out. I've seen so many AI replies in the different social media platforms, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And it's like, stop.
It's
It's
just my
not
point.
authentic, and we can tell too because when you start to read it and you see repetitive phrases,
Mhm.
the M dash, the et ceteras,
Yeah. Why
and just the formality of the content itself, it's like, I love whisper flow. I mean, like you said, the voice note, like, I just it takes a long time to type back, to comment, typing it, right? But you get that whisper floor, can't say that word today, whisper flow or some other kind of voice recording to respond, and it dictates your voice so beautifully. And
Mhm.
like I wrote my whole entire book. I wrote 2 books, like that, just dictating into it. And then, like you said, putting in the transcript and saying, okay, let's put this in like some kind of a flow pattern. This is my intention to write this book. And here are my chapters. And then just being able to break it out and then say, okay, let's do it again. And this is the focus of this chapter. And okay, and the main idea. And you have to know what to put in order to get the healthy product out that's gonna really share your authentic self. So I'm so glad that you shared that with us, especially important. Copy, everyone. Don't rely on AI to write for you. You need to use that part of your brain.
Yep, that's right. Don't lose it.
Yeah, and you will lose it if you continuously
You will.
let AI do it.
Yeah.
So I love using AI for market research for SEO.
Yeah.
Keywords like, what's my client like, here's a conversation I had, what else is my potential client saying out there, and how can I produce good quality podcast content to support them in this journey. And when I'm an independent insurance broker specializing in life and health and annuity, and I have to go for anti-money laundering training every 2 years, and so yesterday I finished up my course, and the fraud that's going around, it is so crazy.
Mhm.
And I did a post about crypto because a lot of people are getting duped into investing in crypto, and they're not. It's not a good. It's a ploy to take your money. It's a scam. So you have to be really careful and go to the source, find someone who's a financial fiduciary that can help you invest properly through the proper channels so that you're not giving away your life savings. And I think about this, I get, we can get duped into buying these services and products. And when you're starting off your business, I've talked to a lot of people who are like, well, I invested in this and then the person disappeared. So really relying on the credibility of that agency, that person to assure, like, check them out. How long they've been in business. So when someone wants to hire a VA, how do you help them connect with a person that's a good fit? Like, what should they
Yeah.
be aware of?
Yeah, I think especially with VAs because the market has become pretty saturated. And unfortunately, with AI, platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, where you used to be able to find a decent freelancer, it is really hard to vet those people now because they're using AI to reply to your proposal. And so it seems like they know what they're doing or, they have the credentials, but it was all AI. And so you just can't beat that in that referral and recommendation network. So my job, a huge part of my job as the agency owner is to do networking. And I meet business owners in my town and online constantly so that I can be a warm referral between the graduates of our program and the business owners who need to hire them. Because I can say, this is a real person whose real work I have seen and credentialed and validated. And this is a real business owner who seems like a decent human that you might get along with. So I just think that we can't get away from that human connection. And the hidden network is where most jobs are getting filled anyway. So just think that there is not much of a shortcut for it. So the more
Mhm.
you tap into recommendations, referrals, your networking place, the better off you're going to be to find somebody who is a good fit for you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. Tell us, what is the best financial advice that you've ever received that you can share with our audience?
I would say it was probably the when I first started to think about entrepreneurship and the scariness of it, it was to be encouraged to think about the possibilities. And obviously, that comes with the money side of things because I was in roles that absolutely were capped. There was no way I was ever going to earn beyond, what my ladder was at. And so the best financial advice I ever got was to really expand my horizon and to think about the possibilities and the exponential growth that comes with allowing yourself to go beyond what you ever thought was possible and the scope. Because just like work begets work, money begets money. And so if we can be in control of our own ability to earn more money, then obviously that comes in via revenue. And then we can start investing and then we can start looking at additional sources of income. And it just really expands from there. So for me, the best piece of entrepreneur or the best piece of financial advice I ever got was be an entrepreneur.
I love that. Thank you so much, Michelle. Tell our audience how they can connect with you.
Sure. I am most active on Instagram. That's where I love to connect. So if you would like to connect just with me and you want to talk about the agency side of things, I'm at Michelle Puccinelli. If you're more interested in our training program and what that could look like, that's at virtualworkstudio.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michelle, for being here and for spending time with us and for sharing all those gold nuggets with our audience. For those of you listening, please check the show notes, click on those links, and go connect with Michelle on Instagram and find out like how you can work with her to further your business, to grow your business, to get to that next level, whether you're starting out or you're ready to scale. Because remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it. If today's episode helped you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another entrepreneur who's ready to build wealth with confidence. And if you're ready to go deeper, come join us inside The Smell of Money, where we turn these conversations into action. Before you go, grab your favorite essential oil, take one deep breath in, and slowly exhale. Breathe in cash flow, exhale overwhelm. Breathe in confidence, exhale doubt. Breathe in wealth, and trust the woman you're becoming. Until next time, cash flow, confidence, wealth. This is Lisa Drennon, and you've been listening to iDateMoney. Keep trusting yourself, one money move at a time.